Hello everyone, this is Ray Space and welcome back to Realism Overhaul Sandbox in Kerbal Space Program 1.12. In a video a while ago I introduced a way to launch really large payloads on SLS by taking advantage of one of SLS's more underappreciated features, and that's the fact that the really large core basically can get to orbit with a fairly large payload. In a more recent video I discovered that the payload capacity for Block 2 SLS with just the core and no upper stage, no EUS or anything like that, was 120 tons, which is fairly respectable, omitting the EUS and all that. So we can therefore sort of hang a payload along the side of the core and thereby launch a really large payload. And in this case I wrap the payload all around SLS. It's not actually this shiny outside. I don't know why it's so shiny in here, but anyway, it'll be less shiny outside, and in order to make this payload get to orbit without assembly, this is sort of necessary. You can't really do this. This is a spinning artificial gravity sort of spaceship slash more like a space station really, but it's one of those. And then it'd have engines over here. It could probably have propellant hidden underneath the radiators there, but yeah, that is how it looks. It could attach to a larger ship on this side, though I really need to come to grips with exactly how long an arm we can have on here before it does that weird flippy thing. It's like the tennis racket situation where suddenly the thing that's spinning will randomly flip axes. I don't know if you've seen that. I forget. The effect starts with a D. The effect starts with a D, but it slips my mind what it's called. Yeah, I'll have to look that up some other time. But anyway, there's this weird effect where if you've got a spinny thing with a long arm, it'll randomly flip, and we don't want that to happen. So it'll go all unstable, and I don't know how long we can make this bit, or how heavy we can make this bit, how much we can make its moment of inertia in that specific direction, so that it's gonna cause that problem. But anyway, hopefully this is okay so far. But yeah, anyway, the point is that I finally made a model that takes advantage of this feature of SLS, and in fact I could have probably made it longer, but it's good that it doesn't extend all the way down, otherwise it'd be affected by the thrust of the engines and the SRBs. So this is likely good enough. It's fairly wide a span. Let's see, 112.8 meters is that axis, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's a good amount to spin. And remember, the bottom, when people are inside of this, the bottom is this side or that side. So either side is going to be the bottom. And so these windows are like that. The floors, that's one floor, that's another floor. And then there's long tube that they can go float through. Well, they won't really be able to float through. There's still going to be gravity somewhat, so they'll have to climb through. And then this part will be zero gravity. And yeah, and things would dock to this side, so if they're going to enter the ship, it's through this side, and then the propulsion's on the opposite side. So, or other stages and stuff like that. So that is the format of it, and we should test launch it. Now, oh shoot, I've got it rotated the wrong way. That would be bad. Alright, so I had tested the core alone and found out that it was able to do 120 tons, so that's pretty respectable. And we have 114 tons we've got there, so it's a fairly large station slash ship. It's not currently supplied with food, water, and oxygen, because that would push it over to 120 tons. And but we need to still test whether it can make orbit, because it's got a lot more drag than the situation where I tested the 120 tons, right? It's got these extra arms and those bits causing more drag, and that could throw things off. So let's see if the drag really throws things off, or whether this can make orbit. As sheer delta V wise, we can't really tell. 9,370 is sort of iffy. So let's go outside and see if we can get this, what I've called the spin ship, out to orbit. While I would normally launch SLS from Cape Canaveral, I feel like this is very much more of a Tampico deal. I don't think NASA... I don't know. Would NASA be able to deal with this? What do you think? I don't think NASA will be able to deal with this. So as you can see outside, it's much whiter than it seems in the VAB. And it might be the shader, because I'm using TUFX with this particular profile, Stephen Hassel Lesser Bloom. And, well, there goes all the shiny. Anyway, so here we go. Engage autopilot. Actually, if we could go to 22, let me disengage and say, yeah, straight out from here. Alright. Let's see if it can do it. Oh, these still have a weird problem. I don't know. They have a sound problem. They didn't in the other install. The one where I've been testing SLS so far. This is a different install than that one. The reason why is because this is crazy, so we're doing it in the crazy install rather than the history install. The one where I was testing SLS before was the history install. And for reasons unknown, the RS-25s in here seem to have an additional problem compared to what they had in the history install. I think it has to do with the different versions of RO. So, up we go. We are past the speed of sound. Those Bola boosters doing their thing. In Kerbal Space Program, we don't have to worry about nozzles flying off after all. Okay, booster set. Yeah, they're silent. I'm having trouble with silent engines in this particular install. It might be a general problem. It's a very interesting look now. SLS is very much physically altered by having this on the side of it. It looks quite interesting. Well, it's a little bit eerie not having the engines make any sound, but right now we still have 75 meters per second to spare. So we are well on our way to orbit. Dimension-wise, the floors are meant to be over 3 meters tall, and the modules are about 6 meters by 6 meters. So that's the habitat space. So 6 meter, 6 meter, 3 meters tall. And that's the interior dimensions. Outside, it's a little bit bigger. And then there's other space available, though whether they can make effective use of that is question mark. But the main artificial gravity portion is those dimensions. And then this could be docked to a much larger ship. Assuming that that would not cause instability while spinning. Oh, we're up to 87 now. So I could maybe send some of the supplies up with it. Oh, those look normal as far as the numbers are concerned. So we might be pushing the thrust to maximum there. Okay. Well, let's release it and deploy it and see what happens. Extend. So it's got radiators. Those flaps are mainly because of the nose, so that we can protect whatever's in there. And, you know, a part of the additional margin might be an engine or something, at least a docking port. Okay, so... Oh, yeah, forward. Make sure to kill rotation. We've got RCS ports on the ends. Obviously, that's best for spinning it. Right now, they're just using MMH and Mon 3, as you can see. I do wonder if Kerbals would actually stand on the ends. Right now, this is not pass-through. In other words, we can't just have Kerbals inside and see whether they end up standing. That's probably a little bit too fast to spin. Well, it's good that I can spin so effectively. Yeah, right now that spin rate is about 2 rotations per minute. So that's what we're looking at to generate artificial gravity with. Probably I need some other detail on this side. It's a little bit plain, but then again, that's where it connects to the decoupler and the stage, so can't make it too fancy. But there you have it. That's a spin ship being launched by the core alone SLS. And here we see it's 114 tons, and it's a good thing I didn't try to put too much in. Now, as far as crew habitats are concerned, it's a little bit tricky trying to estimate exactly how heavy they're going to be. But when you think about the internal volumes, I mean, 6 meter by 6 meter is not the largest thing ever. Like, it's smaller than the internals of Starship, for instance. We're really looking at the equivalent of 3 ISS modules, maybe 3 large ISS modules like Destiny, plus some connector tubes. So I think, well, then again, these are 6 meters. Well, that's 8.4 meters in diameter. The hub is big. It's 8.4 meters in diameter and 6 meters tall. Well, I think it's a little bit more than 6 meters tall. So, yeah, we'll call it maybe 5 ISS modules. Anyway, still okay, I think. Alright, well, that being the test, and that being the idea, a very, very different idea than usual, I hope you'll agree. I'll leave it here for today, and say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.